So as you can see here, we have the lineup of my top 5 best and favorite looking cars in BeamNG.drive Vanilla Edition. This will be in no particular order. Feel free to drop a comment down below. What is your guys' best and favorite looking car in BeamNG.drive? Anyway, let's get on with the video. Alright, so here we have the Civetta Scintilla Dark Owl, and as you can see, it is exactly as the name implies. It does, at least to me anyway, look like there are a set of wings back here on the rear tail of it, which are pretty cool if you ask me. This part kind of looks like some sort of beak on a, on a chicken or something, but that's fine. And for me especially, with this little rear light system here, it looks like it's really angry. Kind of like, an owl just staring at you with zero expression, other than just blank stare. But with all the sleekness and little fins here on the side and right here and here, and just the color combo alone makes it look amazing with these rims. And I didn't really think about this, but this is actually a dished outer hub. Pretty cool. Anyway, from the front, here's a good little look at it. Looks pretty dominant, if you ask me. Pretty much like it's just going to slice through the air. Anyway, enough of the outside, let's look at the interior. On the inside, the first thing you will notice is the orange roll cage, which I think is actually a pretty neat little addition to it to keep it different from the regular Civetta. Then you have these little knobs here. I don't know what they really do, probably shut-offs. All these little click-clacky buttons. It is a manual, especially you can tell with the 3 pedals here with the clutch there. And if you notice, you actually have carbon fiber doors with these little latches, which are basically just like little leather handles. And you do have a button either for the window or the locks. I think it's for the window. Of course, you get a neat little digital dash here for your speedometer and all that. Here you have a fire extinguisher, and it is pretty neat that they actually match the layout of the floorboard over there with the steel plate on the floor. Not much to see in the back. Here we have the Civetta Bolide 320 GTT Course. As you can see here, it is a pretty low and flat car. Definitely looks like it too could also cut through the air. You do have these little vents here to probably help with stabilizing the car, or that could actually be venting for the engine. Yep, that's exactly what it is. My bad. Here, the vents actually are to stabilize you, probably around corners and stuff, and just keep traction down the ground. If we come around here to the back, you will notice this massive wing, and I just now noticed this too. They actually have the little bumpers on the side. It's not actually going all the way through. It's just the corner pads. Anyway, to match the look, if you look down here, the exhaust is actually low and wide, just like the car. And I really think the side profile makes it look amazing. Alright, time for the interior. So the first thing I notice whenever I jump into this interior is that not only is it a stitched leather interior, but this wheel is massive. And I just noticed this as well. For some reason, this has an owl on it. I think that's what that is anyway. But if you look over here, you will notice there is a manual and a cigarette lighter, which I guess does match the era of this car with a little basic infotainment center. And it's a cool little addition to have the bowl light over here match the dash with the name. You do get leather and stitched drop-down visors as well, and of course an amazing engine cockpit view of the twin-turbo engine. Couldn't ask for a better view. Something else, if you look right here, the door panel actually matches the same styling of the seats. You got little thick padded areas here, just like you do with the seat. Here we have the Bastion Redtail. They do have a Battlehawk version of this, but I like this one just slightly better. Anyway, it is a pretty cool feature that is a 4-door Charger, I believe is what it is you don't really get fast cars that are 4 doors in general, but I'm glad they added it to the game. Anyway, I think it does have a bulky slash sleek front end here. The bulkiness, of course, it tells itself, but the sleekness is with all the curved designs into it. Even though they have this massive PAL induction hood, which from the side I actually like it a lot too because they actually added these little side pieces, not just that. Also, with the specific red tail design, it actually drapes over the paint design into the rear door, which I kind of like. You do kind of get a more basic styled wing, even though it does have this little drop-down feature in it. But another thing about it I like is that the rear taillight design actually looks really cool. It's got the little fangs on the side, and then it just completely goes across the rear. And to match it with the rear end, you can actually see all this, the exhaust here, and the bulkiness of this bumper. Although it does kind of look weird that it protrudes this far out, I like that they added the exhaust to be matched with it. On to the interior. So the interior is actually my personal favorite of one of the interiors in this game. It is actually really modernized and really comfortable if I was to actually be in this in real life. You do get the suede interior, kind of a plasticky style interior, like most Dodges, I believe. But they give you the modernized infotainment center, the modernized shifter here, which I know is an automatic, but I think in real life they might have a slap shift. Not 100% sure. Anyway, you got your basic steering wheel, your cooling system. You do have a little tray on the dash. Cool little feature here is they have the lights and the little storage space up here, along with your visors. And so basically the back here matches the front, so you can have 2 to 3 more people enjoying the fun of all the horsepower. Something else I just noticed, I didn't realize that I think these are actually pod speakers on the door, your door speakers, but they actually added a texture onto it for the covers. This has a massive knob here. I think that's for the venting. And so basically, this is one of my favorite cockpit interiors because there's just so many little features, especially that at the four-door, they actually had to add a bunch more stuff. But it's a very basic cockpit, but with a lot of modernized specs to it. All right, so here we have something called the Barocco Moonhawk, and I know to some of you might be basic, but to me, I am in love with old American cars, especially big, boxy, fat cars. This is only the two-door option. I think there is a four-door option. I know that modern cars are getting big again and all that, and they have been for a while, but just something about this old, boxy American look is amazing. Very simplistic. That is why I also love it with the basic dish wheels. Even though you do have your steel rims, I think the dish part actually makes it look a little bit more smooth. That and it matches the chrome on the front and rear bumper. Of course, you got your basic square headlights, even though you have the circle pods, which a lot of older cars did do that. You have your basic little marker lights on the sides here and there. And believe it or not, the exhaust is actually kind of hidden underneath this thing onto the interior. So this is another one of my favorites. However, it is outdated as crap. I actually had a car just like this. So you have a brown interior, brown dash. Everything's pretty much square in here. Although your seats are nice and voluptuous, very comfy. You do get a carpeted flooring, and I think on some models, like the one I had in real life, you actually had carpet on the side of the door here. Anyway, you have your basic roll-up crank windows and your door latch. Neat little chrome knobs for all your venting and buttons. A set of very basic drop-down visors, which I think in these didn't even actually have lights or mirrors yet. And of course, the back is matching. Very voluptuous seat. Not much room here for your legs though. But as you can see, I think the carpet actually goes up and over this deck. Now, I don't think this car has it, but on some models, you actually have the headlight switch here on the floor, and that is not true on this one. Here we have a truck rather than a car. However, this is the 423 Sport version, which in real life would be the 454. Now, I do prefer it in black, but in this game, I think the red actually looks better. You do get a little pinstriping here to match the era. Very interesting front spoiler or front lip design here, especially for a truck rather than a car. Of course, they're keeping with the big boxy and square look to it. A very neat set of rims, in my opinion. And of course, you have your dual exhaust setup here in the rear. The bed is just a basic bed. It is a short bed, I believe, though. Onto the interior. So this is pretty much like any other truck from this era. You got a bench seat. You have your basic dash and wheel setup, and your column shift, and your doors are basic as well. Although I do like the little added benefit of the chrome buttons and chrome handle. And if you look up here, you have amazingly large visors. They basically just both go almost all the way across the side, other than the mirror space here. And your mirrors are actually so old-fashioned, you can still manually adjust them. They just stick here, just like in an old Dodge or an old Chevy of anything. You just push them to adjust them. And of course, you have your rear glass window to see what's in your bed. I just can't believe how much space they give you for storage up here on the dash. That's amazing. Although it would not be amazing if you're going around a fast turn. Alright, so if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure you drop a like down below, or comment, and possibly subscribe if you guys want to see more of this type of content. I'll see you guys in the next video, and I hope you have a wonderful evening.